I met someone in town one day and they said, we're thinking about starting a charter school in Union Parish.
And that's how it all got started. A group of citizens in Union Parish wanted to bring a new look to the parish school system. People didn't know what to think about this at first when it was being talked about. Ms. Neese says,
my first reaction was, absolutely not. I just retired. I don't want to do anything. But as I began to look at it myself online and do some research, I thought this might be a good thing. So the next time I saw that person was a few months later, and I said, are y'all still working on trying to get a charter school? They said, yes. Would you like to come to a meeting? I said, yes, I would, just to see how things are going. And I was hooked at that meeting.
And with a group of about 10 people, they set off to get the plans ready for a school.
We had to initially go to Baton Rouge, and there were about 50 groups of people there who were interested in forming a charter school. And we had to listen to so much information, and it was such good information because we basically knew nothing. We really didn't know what to do. So the first thing we had to do was hire an attorney and incorporate ourselves, and we became D'Arbonne Woods Charter School Incorporated, and there were about 10 or 11 of us, adults. We had no building, we had no students, we had no teachers. It was just a group of people who we incorporated ourselves.
Now with an attorney and information they had learned while in Baton Rouge, they began the preparation for the school. Not having a place, teachers, or students for the school to happen didn't stop them. The group went back to Baton Rouge.
We had to actually write the contract, write the charter. The state of Louisiana said, here are 63 questions, and you have to answer them all, and then we will send them to the National Charter Organization. They will judge it. So it took 2 years to answer those questions because they were so lengthy, and they're not just one-word answers. And so we did that. And the National Charter Group wanted to meet with us, so we had to meet here in Baton Rouge with people from Washington, New York, Chicago. They interviewed us, and it was a tough interview because they asked very tough questions, and we passed with flying colors. And they sent that back to Baton Rouge, and there ended up being 3 groups that were given a go from the National Charter Board. And we did not get to go that first year, even though we were given a green light. We did the next year. And we said, where are we going to have a school? We don't even have a building. So we started in the Walmart building, and we had people come up and build walls and all that type of thing, and put in a place for a cafeteria. And it was different, but it worked. It worked because the teachers were allowed to teach how they thought was best to teach. And teachers have to be monitored. They have to, you can't just shut the door and say, do what you want to. Throw ping pong balls. No, you can't do that. And they still have to be evaluated and things like that. But it worked, and then once we had a high school, we didn't have a place for them, so we used the True Hardware building, and it was just crazy. I mean, who would think you could have a school in places like that and it would work? I'm sure it was not the best situation for students or teachers or administrators, but academically, it worked. What was going on in the classrooms worked. And then finally we got this building here.
School started in abandoned buildings in Farmerville, but the students and teachers made it work. I asked a few students who were in attendance at D'Arbonne during this time what some of their favorite memories were from the old Walmart and True Value building. One student says, "It was always fun to listen to the other teachers teach. I could hear kids at lunch, and everyone could hear if someone was getting in trouble." Another student says, "The best part about living in a small town like this is going to a school like D'Arbonne, because I can tell people that my school started out in an old Walmart and True Value building, because I don't think anyone else can say that." Even though we all had fun at these locations, both students and staff were excited to be moving into our brand new school beside the lake. When Darbone began the process of looking for teachers, Miss Catherine Boyd was one of the first teachers to join the DWCS staff.
I'm Catherine Boyd. I teach 6th and 7th grade World History and American History here at Darbone Woods Charter School. Well, it was a new school. It had just been born 13 years ago, and I heard about it, and I ran over and put my application in and was hired pretty much right away and have been here ever since, and I'm glad I came here.
Miss Boyd says that there are many memories that she has at Darbone Woods, but here are a couple of her favorites.
My favorite memory here at Darbone Woods is my first year teaching kindergarten, because those students are graduating this year. The thing I really like about Darbone Woods is the staff here. The employees are not cliquish. They're not snobbish in any way whatsoever. Everybody cares about everybody else. We had a flood one time, and the water came up into the outside door. Even though the door was closed, the water came into our classroom, so that was an experience. Then we moved to the old Walmart building, and that was another different experience because our walls didn't go all the way to the ceiling. We had to teach quietly and keep the students quiet. And then some of us got moved to temporary buildings outside the old Walmart building, which was a challenge when it rained because there were no overhanging ceilings for us to keep dry. And then we waited and waited, and we finally got our brand new building, and everybody's very happy with this building. Happy to be here.
My name is Carrie Manning, and I teach high school English at Darbone Woods. I teach English 2, English 4, and English 101 and 102. I love that the school leadership allows us to have autonomy over what we teach. We have the freedom to teach whatever literature we want, whatever novels we want. We do follow the guidebook put out by the Department of Education, but we get more flexibility than other schools do. My favorite memory at Darbone Woods, that's a hard question because there's so many. I guess some of my favorite memories are the things that make it so special for the students, with the homecomings and the football games. I can't just name one memory, there's too many. I've always loved teaching, and the reason why I love it so much is because you get to see the outcome of what you do with student success. Just today, we've got juniors running around all kinds of excited because they received their ACT scores, and most of them are happy with them. So that's another one that's a hard one to answer. I love lots of things about teaching. I think Darbone Woods is a great school. I'm grateful to be here. One of the things that I think is really neat, my husband and I traveled a lot because he was in the military, and I've never lived anywhere as long as I've lived here. And it's really neat to be able to see what former students do after they graduate. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway, is that I love seeing what everybody does once they leave here.
Darbone definitely has one of the best stories as far as how it got started. It's a unique story. When the school started, there were less than 100 students, to now just having under 1,000 students K through 12. From the first high school graduation being 1 student to now having 67 students in the senior class of 2022.
My name is Heath Murray. I'm the Executive Director at Darbone Woods Charter School. Whenever I got into education back in 2001, I began as a junior high basketball coach and a PE teacher and an English teacher. And my principal, Mr. Roy McCoy, encouraged me to get my administration certification. And so there were a few classes that were offered, so I started taking a few free courses, and then just kept on taking classes until I got my certification. Really started missing working closely with kids. I started missing the role of being, I guess, an academic or instructional leader on campus. Miss Stephanie Miller contacted me about an opening here at Darbonne. I came to visit and got an interview and just fell in love with the place the first time that I stepped foot on campus. Over the field there, over the top of the school building, and seeing the lake, and just remembering how pretty of a scene that was, and that's something I always remember, is just that image in my head of looking out over that field and seeing the lake.
My name is Josh Barham, and I'm a teacher and coach here at Darbonne Woods. This will be the end of my third year at Darbonne Woods. I've always liked charter schools. I know this place has a reputation of academic excellence, and I thought that I could bring something to the table there, and also help our sports programs get on par with where our academic programs are. So far, probably my best memory athletically was our big win over Jonesboro Hodge for the district title this year. From a teaching perspective, the thing that I like is here we've got kids who want to do well. That's not always the case. Some people just want to come to school and get through the day, but I think that all of our kids here want to be better each day when they leave. So that's refreshing and nice to work with. I've been several different places, and Darbonne Woods is a great school.
I'm Tommy Tharp. I'm the head football coach. What made me decide to teach and coach? Well, I always liked school. I wasn't the best student in the world, but I always liked school, and I always liked playing ball, all the different sports. Happened to run into my old football coach, and he said he always thought that I'd make a good coach, and that coincided with the same time I was taking a really hard physics class, so I decided I'd switch my major, and I did. What made me decide to come to Darbonne Woods? Well, I've been doing this for 34 years, and I've been a lot of different places, and the last couple of years I was helping a friend out in Winfield, and the Darbonne Woods position came open. It's a lot closer to my home, and I had some mutual connections here, and I had interest in the job, and just pursued it and was lucky enough to acquire it. Oh gosh, I guess my favorite memory from a sports standpoint was we had a really good football season when very few people thought we would, and of course the relationship with the kids on the ball team, and then academically I've had a really fun year with a lot of my kids. They're very, very smart, have been attentive. We've got a lot done in class. It's been a really enjoyable year overall. Well, I think Darbonne Woods is a great school. It's one of the best schools I've ever been at, probably the best academically. Athletically, we're starting to get things going. There's going to be a lot of changes around here in the next few months, and when they happen, people are going to notice differences, and it's going to be a premier place in North Louisiana to attend school.
Darbonne's a Class 2A school in the state of Louisiana. As far as athletics goes, Darbonne has football, basketball, softball, baseball, golf, cross country, track and field, powerlifting, and fishing. They have all had their hardships, but the programs are growing, and just this 2022 school year, having every sport compete in state finals. These teams started out practicing on fields they had to rent or borrow from other schools or places that had courts and fields available. Now, with a new school and their own place to host games and practice, Darbonne's athletics department is only improving.
For our schools and all of the worst mighty world growing in our hearts the love we have for you. Blessing all with thoughts our days begun. The sun shines over our school and now with pride and we will shine. Oh!
Darbon is a special place. It's the teachers, the students, the parents all make this place special. I feel like this is the best school around. It's not perfect. I feel very fortunate and very blessed to be able to send my kids to a school like Darbon Woods.
Go Wolves!